All right. What's going on, everybody? This your boy, Dr. Will Rogers, aka Master Teacher 33. Got another nugget need to drop in your lap today, brothers and sisters. Doing my Facebook Live today, and want to talk to you today. Very important topic. Sitting outside here, getting a little sun, getting a little earthing. How's the audio? Hopefully the audio is coming through okay, where you guys can hear me all right. If not, I can plug in my microphone so that way you guys can hear me. You know, today I want to talk about a very important topic. I want to talk about, catoms and atoms and your true, proper self-image. That this is one of the most profound topics because we live in an environment. I talk about this inside of my book, The Cosmogrator. And in that book, I talk about some of the ancient texts that we don't have access to. A lot of people don't have access to these texts. And so we want to talk about how, this information that's coming out is reverse engineered spirituality. And so this reverse engineered spirituality is what we're going to be talking about today. And it's starting to heat up a little bit. I'm going to take this show inside. I may come back out afterwards a little bit. But, it's very, very important, brothers and sisters, that each and every one of us, I don't know where you guys get your information from. I have my Life Management Center. I got the Kingdom Millionaires Training Center. I'm going to invite everybody out to join me. I'm doing a big sale on Black Friday, so that way you can join the 2020 Total Awareness, so that way you can get access to this information. The information I'm talking about is what I'm going to be sharing with you today. So today we want to break down catoms. So a catom is an atom. That's all it is. It's just an atom. But it's a machine. It's a machine-generated atom. Now, this isn't new. I think it's new for us, but it's not new for them. Meaning, we are catoms, but we think that we are atoms. And so now it's this understanding of the difference between these two. The difference between the like the cathode ray tube, because remember, the world we live in is reverse engineered spirituality. So when you look at the ancient text, it talks about Samael, and it talks about Samael. Sam means blind, El means God. So there is this blind God that created this whole world. So this world is a dumbed down version of the original. Let me say it again. So the world we live in is a dumbed down version of the original world. So this is not spirit. This is a dumbed down version of spirit. So we all been bamboozled. We've all been duped in believing that spirituality. So as I talk about inside of my book, spiritualize is spiritual lies. So so the more spiritual you are, the more lies that you've brought into. And so we want to talk about today what I'm going to be sharing inside of my private club, which is, again, 2020 Club 167. So you want to join that. I'm doing a special this Friday, so you want to tune into that. Because everybody that's listening to the sound of my voice, you're more than likely, because the way that DNA coding works and computer coding work is exactly the same. Let me say that again. So DNA coding and computer coding is exactly the same. Now, let me say that again. That should hurt your brain just a little bit. Because I'm saying that computer coding and DNA coding is exactly the same. Now, let me say that again. Computer coding and DNA coding is exactly the same. So you're a computer. Now, granted, you're a biological computer, but boo-boo, you're still a computer. So now that we got that out of the way, we're all computers. So if we're all computers, who's the programmer? So if we're all computers, who is the programmer? That's Samael. That's the blind God. So a cathode or a catom is a computer atom. That's why it has the C in front of it. It is a computer-generated atom. Now, if I was an artist, what I would do is I would, take out a piece of paper and I would draw this out for you guys so that way you guys can see that we are nothing but computers. Now, in the Matrix and all of this isn't anything new. We've known this for years. They've been telling us, And I left my card outside. I sure did. So they've been telling us this for years. So this, what I'm telling you today, this is not anything new. Everybody knows this already, but the the problem is we don't know how this works. So what I'm doing in 2020 is I'm breaking this down for you so I can show you how all of this works. So that's why you need to join the 2020 Total Awareness. So that way you can get the understanding of, okay, Doc, this sounds interesting. So what you're telling me is that, okay, if I'm a computer, although I'm a biological computer, and I got this code that's written, I am basically just a computer code. So if I'm a computer code, how do I work? Well, you work just like a computer, okay? So how do I know this? Well, this is written in all of the ancient texts. This talks about Enki and Enel when they came out and they manufactured, mankind, and these guys were genetic engineers. So these genetic engineers genetically engineered us, if you want to use that term, genetic engineer. Now, I have to break this down for you because just talking about it is one thing, but actually seeing it for yourself is a whole nother thing. Now, when I took and I studied cellular biology and I studied, biochemistry and how each individual cell work, and I told you guys to go to Google and type in NSA, data center. And then if you look at the aerial view of the NSA, it's exactly like a human cell. It looks exactly like not a human cell, a computer cell. It looks just like a CPU. So why is that? Well, that's because the powers that be, they don't want you to know that this whole earth is being regened, if you want to use that term. So when I say regened, what that simply means? Well, that just simply means that the earth operates on ley lines. So ley lines hold the earth together. So Cathars or C atoms, again, you can Google all of this stuff. I'm going to be breaking this down for all of my group. And again, I'm coming out this Friday with the 2020 sale, so you want to take advantage of joining so you can get a copy of these 33 books that breaks this down in detail. Because it's one thing for me to sit here and tell you that you're a computer, but it's another thing for you to actually see the fact that you are a biological computer, and the fact that DNA coding and computer coding works exactly the same. And so now, if you do not have a proper self-image, now Jesus said, when you've seen me, you've seen the Father. Now we have the Father. Now in all of the non-Christian texts, the Father is known as that dude, the Son, that bright ball in the sky that's beating on my bald head. That's the Son. But in the Bible, it's spelled S-O-N. Now we know in the ancient text there's no vowels. If you don't know, let me tell you, there's no vowels. There's only consonants. So there is no A, no A, E, I, O, U. None of the vowels, sometimes Y, are inside of the ancient glyphs. So therefore, if you take out the vowel U and you put in the vowel O, you get a different meaning. So the difference between me and most people that I talk to is most people, they worship the sun. Like in Egypt, whether it's the S-U-N, that thing in the sky, or whether it's the S-O-N, that description inside of the Bible. So now remember how you work. And again, as I'm going to break down, that there's a difference between a atom, A-T-O-M, and a catom, C-A-T-O-M. And so, or C-T-O-M, depending on how you spell it. Now, the reason why this is so important is because you are reversed spirit. So there was these, I'm going to use the word geneticists, that were very, very gifted and very good at what they do. And if I can reverse engineer spirit, if I can dumb spirit down, how would I do it? Well, I would have to get little small nanoparticles, and these are nanocomputers. So a nanoparticle, as they are proving, now this is why I love this, man, because now science is proving everything that I've been saying for 20 years. Elon Musk came out with a D-Wave computer, and the D-Wave, Google D-Wave computer, and Elon Musk says that the D-Wave computer gets its information from an alternate universe. Now, I'm not saying it, Elon Musk said it. So if now remember, now my boy at Mellon University comes out with a little small nanoparticle. Now they have this out already. Google smart dust. Now smart dust has been out for a long time. You have a smartphone. Now I have a smart refrigerator in my home. I also have a smart stove. I have a smart, microwave. I also have a smart meter on the side of my house. So all of these smart, because it is a machine learning algorithm. That's you. You are a machine learning algorithm. If you have you're born and you have no experience, so you don't know anything. But as you gather experience, you learn things. And everything that you do is based upon your experience, but it's not based upon your spirit. So experience, artificial intelligence, trumps intuition, spiritual intelligence, meaning you should know something in your gut. But we don't listen to our gut, we listen to our head. That's the difference between Catoms and atoms. And so we've got to know, because now they're smart enough to give us the lesser of two evils. So it's not the Catom and it's not the atom either. It's neither one of these things. It's a spiritual atom we don't have access to it because we live inside of now again, this was inside of the movie The Island, which I asked all of my clients to go watch the movie The Island. Okay, it's getting a little warm out here. We gotta take this show inside. And so I asked you guys to watch the movie The Island, right? And in this movie, The Island, they talk about all of this stuff that I'm gonna be sharing in 2020. So for the next year, for everybody that joined me, you're gonna be stuck with me for a whole year, and we're gonna go through this. We're gonna go through 2020. We're gonna go through 33 books that I've written, in addition to the ones that I've already got. Now, this is very important, brothers and sisters, because each and every one of us are not, how can I put this? You're not what you think you are. Now, it's not your fault, boo-boo. It's not that it's bad, and it's not that it's good. It's just, it is what it is. So, but I can't just say something without having proof. So, as I talk about, I like to prove everything because I got my $10,000 challenge out there. And y'all know I ain't trying to give away my money. So you can be damn skippy before I come on Facebook or anywhere and talk about anything. Just have to bring the show inside. It's getting a little warm outside. So bear with me while I reconfigure my surroundings. All right. Woo. Yeah. I try to do it outside. Show you guys my, well, I can't take credit for the wife's garden, but I'm taking credit for it anyway. But these cathars, brothers and sisters, is what the 2020 program is all about. So everybody that's listening to me, you're not what you think you are. I hate to be the bearer of good news. This is actually good news, because now science is finally proving everything that I've been saying for 20 years. I've been saying this and saying this and saying this, and nobody's listening. And it's not that we're listening. It's not that we're not listening. It's that we don't know what we don't know. How do you know what you don't know? You can't. So how do you know what a cathom? We don't even know what a cathom is until they just came out with it, right? So these knuckleheads have developed a computer. I am not going to even say a computer. Yeah, it is a computer. So this nanotechnology stuff. Now this is crazy, man. Y'all got to research this on your own. Y'all gotta get off, man. Turn off the Love and Hip Hop. Quit watching, Basketball Wives, and y'all gotta start researching this stuff. And you gotta see, because they telling you it's in all the movies. That was a movie with Dakota Fanning and oh man, what was the name of that movie? Where they were fighting, and it was Oriental people. And they knew what they was going to do before they did it. And I talked about this before, which is why there are people who are erasers. There are people who are programmers. There are people who are handlers. And then there are people who basically, because you're a computer, they can predict what you're going to do next. They can intercept it. They can manipulate it. They can make your life hard, and they can make your life easy. Now, remember what I've been saying. As long as you stay in your lane and play their game, they would allow you to experience what you and I call gain, money. But the moment that you step outside, now remember, if you're a computer, you can't even do this. So this is how you know if you're a computer or not, is by over understanding if you have the ability to do things on instinct, change. A computer just can't change anytime it wants. My computer runs on a program. Now, I have 4 computers. And all of these computers that I have, they run off Microsoft. They don't run off of any other system. So my computer cannot change on its own. Now, computers are getting smarter. So now we got computer-based learning systems out. But they are coming out, but they're not out. So every computer on a cellular level, if you look at a image of your cells, intercellular digestive system inside of your blood cells right now, it operates exactly like a computer. So if you were to go inside of one blood cell, and it's a circle, that's why it's called a cell. Now, when I worked in the prison system, I got 20 plus years in law enforcement in the prison system. And when somebody did not act right, we put them in a cell. The judge would sentence them to the crime. And then they would, after the sentence, remember, first you go before a judge. That's why you cannot, when you observe something, you can't judge it. Because whatever you judge, you put it inside of a cell. You put it in a box. So if you notice, these are called thought form beings. These are orbs. We all do this every day. Now, this is getting a little deep, but I just want you to understand that if you don't see yourself as the sun, first mistake, you cannot solve problems if you're not a problem solver. If you're a computer, you can't solve problems. You can only solve problems that you are coded. So you cannot rewrite your own code. That gets into epigenetics. That gets into the biology of belief, what like Dr. Bruce Lipton talks about. So that gets into being one with source. Now remember, in all of the ancient texts, the sun, S-U-N, is God. That's what Jesus said, when you've seen me, you've seen the Father, because me and the Father are one. Then Jesus is called the Son of God. But we think it's S-O-N because the O is a vowel. There is no vowels in the ancient text. It's all consonants. So there is no A. The A, E, I, O, U, you got to interject that. So anybody can put any vowel into any word that they want. So the S-U-N, God, is now to you S-O-N. So the Son, that's what Jesus could confidently say, when you've seen me, S-O-N, you've seen the Father, S-U-N. Because S-U-N and S-O-N are the same. But you now, the Bible says that we are sons and daughters. So do you see yourself as the Son? The S-U-N. If you don't, you have a faulty self-image. And if you have a faulty self-image, that makes you programmable by people like me. So there are programmers in the world today. There are people that they call handlers. They call handlers, they call programmers. Them are the ones that control people, especially people that got O blood. Why? O. Because the cells are an O. This is toroidal energy. Now I break all of this down inside of my books that I've already written. We didn't get into the 33 new stuff. So inside of this book right here, Genie in the Genes, I break this down. Inside of this book, The Key of Knowledge, I break this down. So all of my 50 old books, you should get those if you ain't got them already. Inside of this book, I break this down. Boo-boo, this book right here breaks it down. You are a biological computer. If you go and look up the word N-A-S-A, that means dividing serpent, or divining serpent, snake. Now, if you go and look up NSA and Google data center, NSA data center in Utah, again, that data controls your matter. Data controls matter. Let me say that one more time. Data control matter. So we are reverse engineered spirit. That's why it says in the Bible that you're made in the image. You're not made in the, you're not an exact copy of God. You're a copy of a copy of a copy. So Adam was the only person made in the made like God. Everybody else is a copy of Adam. And then there's copies after copies after copies. That's why they had the deluge. That's what we're going through right now. The book number 3 that we're going through is breaking down the true story of Adam and Eve, which is talking about a catastrophe. It has nothing to do with what you and I have been taught. This is a cataclysm. This is a cataclysm. So the story of Adam and Eve is a story about a cataclysm, as we've been breaking down. But if you don't know that, then you don't understand how can they do what they do? DNA controls RNA, and RNA gives instructions to the protein synthesis. So it is this synthesis process that's exactly like computer coding. But if you don't understand that, then you don't understand how a catheter works. And then you don't understand how claytronics work. So the Bible talks about iron and clay. But all of this is totally removed if you can have a proper self-image. That's why what I do is so important. Now, especially if you are a black man, because you're not self-sufficient. You're not a single standing column of waveform energy. You can't take care of yourself. You are dependent upon the government. You're dependent upon somebody else. You're not able to produce wealth out of thin air yourself. So you got to master the art of self-sufficiency. Now this applies to all people, but especially African American people. Why? Because African Americans, we are the number one consumers, but we are not producers. Now the only way for you to be a producer is if you have a healthy self-image. So the number one problem, especially within inside of the African American community, is a faulty self-image. So everything starts with a proper self-image. Let me say it again. Everything starts with a proper self-image. If you do not see yourself as the sun and you worship the sun, you don't see yourself as the sun. So you give your resources, your energy, your time, as I told you guys before, if you treated yourself the way you treat your deity, how would you be? Think about that question for a moment. If you treat yourself the way you treat your deity. Now, remember, I spent all my life, the last 20 plus years, as a licensed ordained preacher. Do you know how much time, how much energy, how much money, how much studying that I spent in the church? What if I spent all of that time, all of that energy, and all that money, as I do now, studying and researching myself, my cells, my biology, how my body works, why I think the way that I think. What is my personality? Not a personality test or chart. What is the person that creates my allergies? What is my personal allergies or my personal auguries or algorithms? What is my personal algorithm? So all I've done is I've changed my focus. I've shifted my focus from being outside of myself and putting all of my time and all of my energy into somebody else, into somebody else's job, somebody else's religion, somebody else's house. Now I take all that time and all that energy and all that money and I put it on myself, because I cannot help someone else if I cannot help myself. So once I've established self-mastery, then I become self-sufficient. Then I become a single standing column of waveform energy. Then I become what I talked about inside of my book. Let me see if I can find it here. That breaks down toroidal energy. Now, if you guys can understand what I talk about inside of this book, you become a single standing column of waveform energy. That little diagram at the bottom. That means you become a what? a cell. That's the key. You can't be programmed. Now, your inside aura, the energy that you produce from inside of you, is more powerful than the energy that's produced outside of you. That's the key. The key is, right now, there are things outside of you that influences you. It's not an inside-outside job. It's an outside-inside job. You got to reverse engineer that. You have to become so powerful that everywhere you go, your energy affects the atmosphere. The atmosphere doesn't affect you. Right now, outside demonstration overrides inside revelation for most of us. That is why it is so easy for you to be manipulated, because I can push your buttons. So if your buttons are easily, if you get angry easily, that's an indication of a lack of self-worth and self-value and self-image. Now, the reason that I mentioned in the beginning of today's message the catom and the atom is because catoms are programmable the same way atoms are. So a catom and an atom are the same. Both must be replaced by what I'm going to be talking about in 2020. Not going to share it here, but both the catom, now remember, whoever they are, they always give you the option between two evils. They always give you option A and option B. They never, ever give you option C. I'm here to present to you today option C. So Yahushua came and he brought option C. Because remember, in the garden, they was in the garden and they ate from the tree. And the tree had two fruit on it. The tree had knowledge of good and evil, but it was still knowledge. It was one tree that had two types of fruit. That's what we got. We got atoms, we got biology, and we got machines. We got iron and clay, but the iron and clay don't mix. So there's something else that you should have in your repertoire. But you don't have that third element. You don't have the fifth element, really, that I talk about inside of all of our books and that I've tapped into and that you got to tap into. Now, for the sake of a word, I call it spirituality. That's what most people call it, spirituality. But it's not spirituality. Because remember, spirit on this dimension is a lie. That's why it's called spiritualized. So a spiritualized person is somebody who has spiritual lies. Because spiritual lies replace your spiritual eyes. And your spiritual eyes are three. Remember, we talked about that before. You should use your intuition. That's the first eye. You should use your imagination. That's the second eye. You should use your intelligence. That's the third eye. So you should use your third eye. The three should become one. So the way that they got you is by giving you the Trinity that's outside of you to replace the Trinity that's inside of you. So the Trinity that you have is the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. But they didn't tell you that the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost are all one. But they did. In the Bible, they said that the three becomes one. But how do you explain the Father and the Son being the same and then the Holy Ghost? Well, the Son is a big ball in the sky that produces heat. In all of the texts, especially in Egypt, the Son is the giver of life. So the Son is considered the creator or the Father. The Son is also the Son, but it's not S-O-N, it's S-U-N. But the Son is also the generator because the Sun sends heat and information. So the Son is actually all three in one. So the Sun, that ball in the sky, not the sun that's in the Bible. So the Son is really three in one. So are you. So you are three in one. You are a spirit that has possession of a soul that manifests itself through a body. You, brother, you are G-O-D. But the G stands for generator. The O stands for operator. The D stands for director. But somebody else is generating your energy. Somebody else is operating your energy, and somebody else is directing your energy. Therefore, you're not God over your own life. Somebody else is. That's the problem, especially with inside of the African American community. Because Negroes are not their own gods. And it's crazy because even conscious Negroes who say that they are, I'm God, but they say it because I got melanin. Okay, that means you have to depend upon melanin. Okay, you can't depend upon melanin. Because why? Somebody can manipulate melanin. They can take it out. They can take. So what is it that people can't manipulate? What is it that you got that people cannot manipulate? Now, they are manipulating it because of what? The Bible says that my people perish for lack of knowledge. So the way that you are manipulated is by a lack of knowledge. Because my brothers and my sisters, God has given you everything that you need for life and godliness. So he has no longer written the laws on tablets of stone. He has not written his laws on tablets of stone any longer. So where are his laws written? He's written his laws on the hearts and minds of his people. That's me and you. So what am I saying? I'm simply saying, brothers and sisters, you got an image problem. And you are depending upon two systems. And we call that polarity. Up, down. Happy, sad. Fat, skinny. Rich, poor. Black, white. But I'm saying that there's another system. They don't give you the option to that system. So what I'm doing in 2020 is I'm revealing, explaining, illuminating, and simplifying the third option. I'm giving you what the Bible calls life. Z-O-A, Z-O-E. That is the third system. That's the third leg. So Z-O-A and Z-O-E, that is the third option that we all have available to us. Because right now, as I'm speaking to you, you are a biological computer. Although you are a very, very advanced biological computer, boo-boo, you are still a biological computer. That is why it's in all of the movies. Ghost in the Shell. We talked about the movie The Island. You know, we talked about the movie Upgrade. We talked about the movie, wow, there's so many movies that talk about that we have all of this potential, but for some reason or another, we don't live up to that potential. And then they give us all the superheroes where one lives up to the potential. One Superman, one Spider-Man, one Batman, you know, one Thor. One person taps through and then he lord his superpowers over everybody else. Everybody is Batman. Everybody is Superman. Everybody's a freaking superhero. You are a superhero, boo-boo. You don't need a superhero. You are a superhero. You don't need a government. You are a government. So you don't need anything that you think you need. So the universe works by you being the universe. The universe only responds to the universe. God only responds to gods. And this says it is in your Bible. This is why I lose all the Christians. Psalms 82 says, do you not know that ye are gods? Now, I know that's probably contrary to what you've been taught. But remember, if you pray to God, the word pray, P-R-E-Y. Because why? It is a vow. Matthew 23 says, woe to you scribes and Pharisees. Why? So I'll break this down inside of this book. You need this book. The key to knowledge. Why? They took away the key of knowledge. Look, this is what it says down at the bottom. You cannot enter into the kingdom without this key. So what is the key? Matthew 23. If you've never read Matthew 23, you want to read it today. Because it says 7 times, woe to you scribes and Pharisees, for you took away the key of knowledge. What is the key of knowledge? Jots and tittles. What are jots and tittles? Is what we call a vowel. So in the ancient text, there is no vowels. It's all consonants. It's a masculine language. There's no feminine expression. There's no A, E, I, O, U. So anytime you see a word that has A, E, I, O, U, who put it in there? And how did they know what letter to put in there? They didn't. They made it up. As I've revealed, explained, illuminated, and simplified for my private group, which you want to be a part of in 2020. Because I don't know where, if you don't get this information from me, you got to go directly to the source yourself. And you can get on your knees. You can go in your closet. You can go outside. You can go find you a nice place with nature. You can go hug a tree. You can go do something and connect with the true God that's not on this planet, according to the D-Wave computer, Elon Musk. So how in the world Elon Musk knows all of this stuff and you don't? How does Peter Thiel know all this stuff and you don't? How is it that the Founders Club, or the Founders Group, how do the 1%ers know all this stuff and we don't? It's interesting that Elon Musk knows all of this stuff. That's why he's able to build all of these computers and all of these D-Wave stuff, but the average Joe don't. Most people don't even know, again, about that big microscope out in Arizona called Lucifer. How come you never heard of that? What's on top of Mount Moab right now? Google it. I've already did the show. So what's on top? Now remember, Mount Moab, that's where the 200 angels fell. The watchers, they fell. Why do we need watchers? I've already did the show. Y'all know. So why do we need watchers? Well, science says that the watchers, they determine what they watch. The observer. So observation is a process of creation. Let me say it again. Observation, observing something is creating something. Oh man, I don't know if y'all got it. So the observer determines what is observed. How? Your intent. So there are people who program your intention. Y'all remember the movie with Tom Cruise called Premonition? Y'all remember that movie? Does anybody remember the whole gist of that movie? I think it was called Premonition. Now, Premonition was, I think that was the other one. What was that movie that was with Tom? It was with Tom Cruise. What was it called? I forgot the name of it. But anyway, there was arresting you for crimes that you were thinking about committing. So how did they know what you was thinking about? So they know what you think before you think. Premonition. So that was a movie called Premonition, but then there was another movie that had Tom Cruise in it where they talked about this ability to hijack your intent. Now, the whole purpose of today's show is for you to understand that although you think you are what we call a human, and you are a human, but a human is a catom of programmable matter. So catoms and atoms are two different. So Genesis 1, catoms. Genesis 2, atoms. Read it for yourself. In Genesis 1, that God created a being made out of programmable matter or a machine because he has no breath in it. Read it again. Go back and read Genesis chapter 1. God, that entity that created that being, did not blow the breath of life into that being. Look at Genesis 1. Then read the Lord God in Genesis 2. And he blew the breath of life, and he said he became a living spirit in Genesis 2. So we got programmable clay, and which controls, again, something else, which is programmable electronics. That's why you are a biological, electrical, chemical being. So some beings are biological, some beings are electrical, some beings are chemical. That's why we are called mankind. Why? Kind of man. Reverse the word. Remember, everything on earth got to be reversed. You got to reverse engineer it. So the word mankind is kind of man, different kinds of man. That's why we got Homo gigantuan. Now we got Homo Neanderthal. We got Homo gigantuan, Homo Neanderthal, Homo erectus, Homo sapien. There's different types of people, is what I'm telling you, bro. So the question is, which type are you? Now, if you Google Claytronics, it's going to hurt your brain. Now, if you Google Catoms, it's going to hurt your brain. Just Google it. Just Google Catoms. Google Claytronics. Google it. All of this stuff is you. So what they're doing now is they're so confident that you're not going to believe the truth that they hide the truth in plain sight. Because they know you're not going to believe it. So I've been saying this for 20 years. I got an email list of less than 100 people. This video that I'm doing right now should go viral. I will have less than 100 people watch this video. I've been doing videos on my YouTube channel, on my Facebook. I should be known around the world. But why not? Y'all know, and I talked about William Cooper. I talked about John Allegro. Now Google these names. All of these people, they're not on the planet anymore. Even my boy, Dr. Sadie. Now, what am I saying? I am simply saying that the truth is hidden in plain sight. And that truth is, you are programmable matter. That's what this is. This dirt suit, this is clay. That's why it's called Claytronics. I like, one of my clients, a good friend of mine, Brother Garrett. Brother Garrett, is one of these brothers that's understands the same thing that I understand and been doing a lot of research. And it's very dangerous because you're going to get isolated by your family. You're going to get victimized. You're going to get criticized the moment that you step into truth. Minority Report. Thank you, there, brother. Minority Report. That's the name of the movie. There are programmers, brothers and sisters. There are handlers. There are erasers. There are people that are called wipers. So you ever know how you get a thought and it's a very great thought, and if you don't write it down, it's gone. Somebody just wiped your memory. Do you remember the Men in Black? They say, hey, look here, and they flash that light. What does a flashing light do to you? What does it do to the brain? So there are people that can steal. So God, source, the real God, the one that's not on this planet, the real one can give you some information to assist you, and then they wipe it from you. They take it from you. Now remember the movie The Island? I told you guys to watch The Island. It's a whole group of people, and on this movie, The Island, the lottery winners thought they was going to heaven. They was happy, like Christians think they going to heaven. Negroes are waiting for Jesus to come back in the sky and save them. Negro, you better save yourself. It's in all of the movies, man. They keep telling us, but we ain't listening. In the movie The Island, there's a whole, and then, like I told you guys, Google the word holographic power grid. I talked about almost, 5 years ago with the book in the series that I get, talked about, and I wrote a whole book on it, which you need to get. Now in 2020, this private club that I've established with my 33 new books. Now, again, you ain't got to join me and get the stuff. You can go directly to source. God will tell you himself. All I did was, I do this all day, every day. This is my job. I get paid very, very well for what I do. Why? Because I do this for a living. This is no play for me. I do not want to live in an environment that's controlled by machines and controlled by egotistical, arrogant, cocky maniacs. So I'm interested in over and understanding how this system works so I can exit out. I can exit the matrix. So that's what I did. So I understand that most people, they live their life according to time. They live their life on time, on Greco-Roman time, which is false time. That's what the Bible says. The birds, the turtle dove and the stork, they know their seasons, but my people don't. Jeremiah 16. Then the Bible also says in Jeremiah 16:9 that my people have inherited lies from their forefathers. So all the shizness that you've been taught, Negro, is probably a lie. Now, I've already proved it. And I got 50 books that I've already written that proves it. I got another 33 books that I'm releasing this year that already proves it. So remember, I have a 3-stranded cord that's not broken. Number 1, I use cosmology. Number 2, I use biology. And number 3, I use esoteric texts, not necessarily theology. It has some, because a lot of the Bible, but the Bible is watered down. So I use what they call the Apocrypha. Why? So I'm able to use etymology. I'm from the Church of Etymology. The Church of Etymology states, we don't live in effect. We live in cause. So I am the causality of my reality. So the Church of Etymology teaches at its base, we trace it all the way back to the cause. That's why the word because means you should be the cause of your reality. Right now, something and someone is controlling your reality. So can you control the amount of money that you make? Are you the cause of your wealth? I'm not talking about no job, boo-boo. You got a job, that's great. I'm not mad at you. But if you lose your job, if we lose the internet, right now we're on the internet. If you cannot create, now, especially for black people, because y'all know we are the #1 consumers. Now, this is the difference. This is how you know if you're not a programmable mass. This is how you know whether or not you are AI or SI or the other I. Now, I'm getting ready to break down in 2020. So right now, everybody listening to me, everybody knows about artificial intelligence. Everybody knows about spiritual intelligence, but there's another intelligence that they don't tell you about. That's why on the triangle, you got the capstone, but it don't touch the triangle. That's why the triangle got 3 points. Top, right, left. There's 3 points. That's why a pyramid is a triangle. Whatever you put inside of a triangle doesn't age. Y'all do know that, right? Don't believe me? You can do this at home. Take an apple, cut it. Take some popsicle sticks and make a triangle. Put that apple inside the triangle and then put an apple outside the triangle. See which one turns brown and age first. I did that experiment. Do it yourself. Do it at home. Make your own pyramid out of toothpicks or popsicle sticks. Make a pyramid. Put something in that pyramid. See if it ages. So we got to talk about pyramid power, because the word pyramid means pyro. Mid. Pyramid means fire. Pyro. Pyro, brother. Mid. It's fire. Mid means middle. That has to do with the kundalini and the kuna buffer. That's you, boo-boo. That's the fire that you got. But you walk around talking about you can't make no money. Not you personally, but people you know. Negro, you ain't got no money problem. You ain't got no health problem. You ain't got no wisdom problem. And you surely ain't got no relationship problems. Now you got a knowledge problem. And again, let me say this very clearly. At the beginning of the show, this is about self-image. More than it is about atoms and catoms. This is about, where do you get your image from? Now, when I say image, how do you see yourself? Not me. Now, you may not think you may think very little of me. And I ain't mad at you. But how do you see yourself? Honestly. How do you currently see? You see, wealth is a currency that's based upon your current C, S-E-A. What is your C? That's your aura. That's your chi. That's your energy. You see, brothers and sisters, most of us, we don't see ourselves the way source code has designed ourselves. See, my source is a code. My DNA operates on a code. Computers operates on a code. You just got the wrong code. You are the code writer. You are the author and the finisher. How does Catoms hold themselves together? And how is an atom held together? What holds an electron and a neutron and a proton together? Atoms are made up of protons, neutrons, and electrons that spin around the nucleus, the nucleus, the nuclei, or nuclear. What holds an atom together? What holds a cat atom together? Catoms. What holds it together? They call it electricity and magnetism. Some call it thought. I call it the ether. Some people call it consciousness. Some people call it awareness. Some people call it God. You control the ether. You are not only the thought, but also the container that holds the thought. Thoughts come in and out. You are not your thoughts. You control your thoughts. I have a lot of thoughts every day, but my thoughts are not me. I select the thoughts that I like to maintain. You should be doing the same. So as you will see, when you start researching, especially now, if you join, the research is already done. I've already done all the research. I have it in 33 books. We've already done book number 1, which is How to Exit Time. We did book number 2, Spiritualize is Realized. We're doing book number 3, which is The True Story of Adam and Eve. After that, we're going to do book number 4. 33 books that explain to you things that you've never heard before about you. And it all starts with understanding what they call claytronics. Why? What was Adam made out of? Claytronics, brothers and sisters. Claytronics have replaced electronics. Now, people think this is just happening today. Boo-boo. That happened back in Samaria. Like it says in the Bible, there is nothing new under the sun. So I got a question for you. Are you controlled by claytronics or electronics? Or spintronics? We're going to be breaking it down in 2020. Brothers and sisters, I don't know what organization you with. I don't know what church you go to. I don't know who you hang out with. But it is my thought. Because I don't pray, because pray makes you pray. P-R-E-Y. So I ain't no Negro's food. There ain't no archons and no Nephilims feeding off my adrenochrome. I don't do drama nor trauma. Everybody knows me, they will tell you that. You guys know I just went through it. If you don't know, I'll tell you. I just went through one event that would destroy most men. I got a call at 9:30 at night on June the 30th from my oldest daughter that said my youngest daughter, my baby, the 19-year-old daughter, was gone. Now, I don't know about you. I don't know if you're a father or not. But all I know is there's very few things that can hit you harder than burying your own child. And if it wasn't for the connection, the gnosis, the knowledge that I have up here, brothers and sisters, I would not be sitting here right now doing today's show. I'm not better than you. I damn sure ain't worse than you. I don't look up to no man. I don't look down to no man. I look Negroes in the eye. I don't do fear. I don't do drama. I don't do trauma. I'm a producer. I'm a creator. Every day I wake up, I don't have no 401k like you. I ain't got no retirement plan. I ain't got no job. I'm a producer. I'm a creator because Source, my God, the big G, is a creator. So am I. So I teach people how to create based upon their design, not the hive mind. Get out of the hive mind, bro. Think for yourself. Dump the program. You've been programmed. You in Groundhog's Day. You get up every day on the same time. You go to work on the same time. You do the same shizness every day. You're not a trained animal in a circus. You are an individual expression of God on earth. Carry yourself as such. You're not a peasant. You're a priest. You're not an employee. You're an owner. And that faulty self-image of yourself is destroying your cells. I do life optimization circles. This is a circle for one of my clients that I just did. That is what is called the life optimization. Go to my website, lifeoptimizationreport.com. If you don't have this for you and all of your children, I don't know what y'all going to do in 2020. You must have this option. Go to my website, lifeoptimizationreport.com. Again, lifeoptimizationreport.com. This is your life optimization report. Also, go to my website, Labor of Love Report. You need that. Now, remember, you get all of that when you join me in 2020. And my website will be up today for Black Friday. And that is 2020 Total Awareness. Brothers and sisters, I love you. I appreciate you. It's an honor and a privilege to break bread with you, to come before you. I know there's a lot of things you could be doing with your time, especially on a Sunday. And you chose to hang out with me today. Thank you so much, everybody, watching. Sister Addie, Sister Candace, B. Jola, Sister Martin Ed, Brother Travis, everybody who tuned in today, man. My Sister Lisa, my cousin Corrine. Thank you guys so much for joining me. If you guys remember, my program, for some people they say it's expensive, but remember, you don't have a money problem, you have a thinking problem. Money is just currency. What is currency? Currency is what you currently see. What do you currently see? You currently don't see money. That's why you don't have money. So what is money? What is it? It's a currency. What is a currency? It's a flow. What is a flow? A flow is what you know. So what do you know? So all money is just an expression of what you know. So if you think you don't know anything, then you don't have anything. So money is what you currently see. So I choose what I see. So do you. So I choose to see wealth. I choose to see health. I choose to see wisdom. And I choose to see great relationships. That's all money is. So currency is what you currently see with your eyes. Currency is what your current see. So you create your current SEA. That's the water around you. That's your aura. That's your energy. You create that, man. So every day I create energy that's high. I create it. I don't ask nobody to come and tell me stuff, motivate me. I don't need no motivator. I don't need nobody to come along and, hey, dog, have a good... I don't need that, dog. I motivate myself, homie. You got to be self-motivated. You got to be self-directed. You got to be a self-actualization. You are a single standing column of God on earth. You are an ambassador of Christ. That's what it says in the Bible. So I'm an individual expression of God on earth. So whatever God can do, I can do. So the number one problem everybody have is an identity problem. You don't see yourself as God. You worship God instead of being God. Big mistake. Stop praying to God. Start praying as God. That changes the game. Why? Because now you see those things that are not as though they were. If my bank account says I ain't got no money, my brain says I do. By making that statement, then the brain tells me how to go make money. If the doctor says I got bad health, I'm going to tell myself, we got good health. Then myself is going to say, okay, if we got good health, how do we keep it? Maybe we should eat better. Maybe we should go to the gym. Maybe we should drink more water. Maybe we should go out and get some sun. So the brain will tell you exactly what to do once you decide what to be. So you don't get how to do it until you decide to do it. Somebody should write that down. You don't get the how until you decide to be. Let me say it again. You do not get how until you decide to be. So you're not going to get the instructions to be a millionaire until you decide that you are a millionaire. You got to see the world as you want it to be, not as it is. The world is flawed, but I don't see it flawed. I see the world as I want it to be. And in my world, oh man, in my world, everybody's wealthy, healthy, wise, and in total relationships. In my world, everybody's partying like rock stars. So I send out a frequency, and I get the same frequency back. Give, and it shall be given. I send out a frequency of wealth, so I get wealth. I send out the frequency of health. I don't care what reality says. Reality can say whatever. My inside revelation overrides outside demonstration. Brothers and sisters, if you can do that, if you can maintain your inside brain, your inside revelation will override. It will change matter. Remember what today's show is about? Programmable matter. See, let me let you in on the secret that I'm telling everybody in my group. I'm not programmable matter, boo-boo. I program matter. See, I'm the code writer. See, a lot of y'all been lied to. The secret is I'm not the actor in the play. I can make a cameo, but I'm the writer and I'm the director of the play. That's you. See, right now, you don't know that you're the writer and the director of the movie called Your Life. You are the writer and you are the director of the movie called Your Life. Now, if you want to act it out too, boo-boo, guess what? You can be the star in your own movie. Now, right now, you're an extra in my movie. Or you're an extra in somebody else's movie. I don't recommend that. Now, I used to be an extra in somebody else's movie. I used to be an extra. I used to be a guy I used to be the guy that did the lights. I used to be the guy that worked behind the scenes that you don't even know that was in the movie. I used to be that guy. I used to be the guy that used to be in the back, dog, that nobody knew. I was like the janitor in my own movie. Go figure that. Now, are you a supporting cast in your own movie? Is that what you're doing? Let me get this right. So it's a movie playing called Your Life. And you mean to tell me you the janitor in your own life? Or you mean to tell me you wrote a script with your thoughts, where in the end or in your own movie, you die at the beginning of the movie? Or in your own movie, you mean to tell me you wrote a script where you ride off into the sunset without the girl and without the money? Why would you do that, dog? Why would you write a script where you die in your own movie? Why would you do that? Since you write your own script, you direct your own script, you star in your own movie, why not make it a freaking blockbuster? So I'm interested in people who want to write a freaking script where they are the star and they ride off into the sunset with the money, with the girl, and then it's a great movie. You don't die in the movie. That's what I'm writing. That's the movie I wrote. So you get to write your own movie, boo-boo. That's what I'm saying. So they telling you that you're programmable matter. I'm telling you that you're not. I'm telling you that you have programmable matter. And guess who programs that matter, boo-boo? Right now, somebody else outside of you is programming you. Stick with me, boo-boo. You gonna be programming your own mass and your own matter. Yeah, it's programmable. But guess what? I am not my matter. I am my data. Oh, man. I gotta stop talking. I'm giving away too much information. You see, boo-boo, once you can separate the fact that you are not your matter, but that you are the data, and you are the data writer. See, they got a data center in Utah, but they ain't got no data center in what I saw. See, they got a data center in Utah, but they ain't got no data center based upon what I saw. So what do I saw? What do I see? Why? The act of observing is the act of creating. What are you observing? Brothers and sisters, you want to join me, trust me. Email me, masterteacher33.com@gmail.com. Go to my website, 2020 Total Awareness. Website, 2020 Total Awareness. It'll be up later on today. You want to go to that website, trust me, boo-boo, and see my 33 books. 33 new books to go with the 50 books that I already written. And they're releasing them. I'm on book number 3 already. So you behind the game, brother. You behind the game, sister. You got to catch up. Remember, 2020, no more play, homie. Write your own script. Be your own director. Star in your own movie. Bump being a supporting cast in somebody else's movie. This your boy, Dr. Will Rogers, a.k.a. Master Teacher 33. I'm at the top. Y'all come join me. You hear?